Hello everyone, welcome to the Escape Restart Army of Darkness server. This is our PvP server, though since I'm on here alone, we'll be playing Mob Arena. I am Ketco Comics, creator of the current map we're playing, Lantern Square. This map is unique from most maps on this server's mob game mode in the fact that, firstly, there's water everywhere. Secondly, we have a unique kit starting with weak armor and a sharpness 5 fish, a puffer fish, though it looks like a frog with this resource pack, unlike the standard kit of just a wooden shovel. The main point of mob, as you might have already guessed from that, is fighting monsters and, well, knocking over that zombie gave me a piece of gold, which that's not really much, but it was just one zombie. So, since that's it for that wave, next wave, and... oh, another zombie. Wait, well, I guess that's a little condescending, but, yeah, you get the basics. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty much a mob arena game type. And yeah, this map is called Lantern Square. On the right hand, you can see all your information, current wave, wave duration, active mobs, and how many will spawn next wave. As we move on, we'll get more advanced mobs, though for just now, we'll be fighting nothing but zombies. Yeah. Sometimes we'll get baby zombies, and they're worth 2 gold, but, you know, because they're a right pain in the rear to take out. And sometimes you can get server lag, and they'll ignore all your hits and deal a hit or two on you for no reason. But anyways, so what probably would be better to focus on are the main gimmicks of the map. Namely, the water. Yes, the water. That is actually going to be very vital to our survival. Once we get enough gold, there is an item in the purple shop, the shoe shop. That's another gimmick. I have unique shops. And I have to get some special boots for running fast in the water. Not on top of it, and yeah, just running through the water. Not able to really swim because it's only 1 block deep due to certain requirements, but yep. Oh, and speaking of baby zombies, that's one. Well, of course that's one right there. Who am I kidding? Chances are, if you're seeing this, you're already familiar with the basic rules of Minecraft and all that. Huh, that was a fair hit. Thankfully, my armor makes it so that I take more than 6 hits from these guys, but only slightly. Things to note about the mob game mode here is that, I mean, I'm only using a fish for my weapon right now, but once I get a sword, it'll be pretty evident that we've basically disabled cooldowns, even though the version here is 1.12.2, the latest as of this recording. And, oh yeah, hunger is basically just negated. Well, it's negated in mob. In the other game modes, well, in the zombie game mode, which is our infection PvP, which I'll not be showing off today, zombie game mode, you do actually have hunger, and because you're running around opening chests and stuff, but for today, though, the only things we can eat are golden apples. Even though I have this fish here, it's pretty much obsolete. So, just put it in the back of your inventory. Oh! And now that I have 20 gold, it's time to show off the shoe shop. Or I can sit here and trade pummelings between a baby zombie and myself. Don't be fooled by their small, adorable size, because they're just... They believe they are Sonic the Hedgehog, so they will rush at you and try to destroy you. That's, you know, very logical for a little child to do, is to rush up and destroy people. And, be just as strong as the adults while doing so. Well, it's more of a, logic error on the part of Mojang, because it's like, really, the babies are just as strong as adults, but smaller, faster, and harder to hit. And apparently, babies are also immune to sunlight, but look at the map now, we don't have sunlight here. Although, the zombies are wearing a glass block for their hats, in case that they are in a map that has sunlight. So, I went and bought some shoes at that purple shop over there. The villagers, stationary, invincible villagers that don't get aggro ever are the shops. You can have different types of shops in your maps. Like, say, here we have this blacksmith who sells weapons and bows and stuff, arrows and potions. And then behind me is the armor shop, which is also pretty pivotal to our survival. And that zombie just 5-blocked me. Definitely not hacking, but yeah, that zombie just 5-blocks me. That's just, you know, poking fun at, Oh, hello! I was just preparing for you, Mr. Vindicator. And despite that ridiculous half of my health in one hit shenanigans he pulled, he's only worth 2 gold. Meanwhile, zombie pigmen and, yeah, zombie pigmen are worth like 5 gold, and Vexes are worth 3. Vexes should really be worth like 8, because that's just how bad they are. Never mind their 8 HP health pool or whatever it is, or like, they have, what, 4? Maybe 8 hearts? I don't know how much health they have, but they're absurd to fight. Anyways. Yeah, basic strategy for this map. Because there are Vexes, and you will have to fight them, you will want to get one of these, you know, water shoes. Oh, come here, Enderman. Every 10 rounds, there's an Enderman boss. It's always one Enderman, plus however many players there are, I believe. It may be different for when you have, like, upwards of 5 or more players, but yeah, it's like, when there's 1 player, you get 2 Endermen. There's 2 players, you get 3. I don't know why they didn't just double the number of Endermen, but whatever. So, I went on 5 different tangents. I can't remember what I was talking about exactly. Oh yeah, right. Surviving these blasted Vexes. They do vex you quite a bit. So, you need some decent armor, bow, arrows, and the ability to evade them to oblivion. Yes, that is exactly what you need, and not everyone has the skill set to deal with it. I am sorry, but that's just how it is. That said, once you've done it a couple of times... Oh, fuck, I hit there because of my camera jerking, but once you've done it a couple of times, it's not terrible. You only want to waste... You don't want to really waste more than... Really, zombie? Don't waste more than, like, 2 arrows per Vindicator if you can help it, just so you can visit the arrow shop less. But, for these rounds, up until we get the diamond sword, we're going to be getting a lot of arrows. In fact, we're probably getting a lot of arrows until we have full diamond armor, just because of how brutal the balancing is in mob. I understand that the staff team is trying to make it so that it's actually a challenge to get the achievements associated with mob and surviving mob and killing the Wither. Yes, there's a Wither boss fight at wave 20, which in my opinion is a bit early. But in making it a challenge to actually, get such achievements, they kind of accidentally made it a little bit ruthless on players. So I've been making easier maps to compensate that, and instead of making it just like, oh look, you got exurged on wave 10 or wave 12, because suddenly you're fighting monsters that you're not prepared for. I have maps that are geared and balanced for really just not destroying the players so much. Now, there are things in the works to make all maps nicer. For example, making tougher end-game and post-game mobs spawn at actually later rounds where people have end-game and post-game gear to appropriately deal with them. But, yeah, as it stands right now, we get Vexes at wave 11. When you're probably toting chain or iron gear. Yeah, you're definitely gonna go into a woodland mansion with a half suit of iron armor. No, that's just sarcasm. Realistically, you wouldn't even be able to find one unless by pure luck until you have basically gone, destroyed the Ender Dragon, got yourself an Elytra, and yeah. But, you know, with Minecraft being as open as it is, I mean, I'm being reckless. Okay, screw that guy. But, yeah, balancing in most mob maps is not very nice. It's still beatable. I have beaten a few maps that are not my own, but generally speaking, my maps are easiest and have interest by being more than just difficult. And I mean, like, brutal difficult. Yeah, most maps are pretty brutal. Thankfully for this wave, it seems that I didn't get too many Vexes. Come on, just one more. Got it! Alright. Now we move on to the next stage of the map, where we have a sword! An actual sword, so... And my map, unlike most maps out there, actually takes advantage of the Sweeping Edge enchantment that came out in, was it 1.10? Yeah, I think it was like 1.10 or 1.11 that introduced the Sweeping Edge enchantment to actually make swords deal respectable crowd control. Which, that is very essential to your survival, is having such a sword. And I kind of have my gold there so I can see how much I have while I'm getting in the way. So, I'll just chop these guys up, and soon enough, I should have enough gold after these guys go down to... Probably gonna actually just up my bow, because upping my armor right now isn't going to be doing me a ton. I mean, I need to up my armor so that I can just sit there destroying a whole ton of mobs at once on land. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, you start off on land, and then you go into the water so you can, you know, move around and survive. A lot of maps don't have water, which means you can easily get ran over by a sudden mob of mobs just spawning right in your path. But here we have water, so only the Vexes and Wither will really be a bother to you when you're running in the water. But eventually there will be so many mobs that you're just gonna want to have... Well, if you want to keep fighting, you're gonna want to not be... Well, I've actually never tried completing this without my full diamond armor. But you can get it, and, you know, survive on the way to getting it. But for now, we're gonna get Arcing Thunder, the stronger bow that'll actually kick some butt. Like we just test right there. Well, that zombie would have been dead from the fire and all that, but he was sitting in the water, so that wasn't the best demonstration. But he's got power 5. That's usually a GG on the first hit. If we just there we go. Oh, and that was a Vindicator. They have 24 health. Which is another reason why they're kind of bogus, is like, this sword, you know, does 10 damage, about nearly 7 on a sweeping hit. No, it's like 7.5 on a sweeping hit, who am I kidding? But it's gonna be like 3 solid hits, no matter what, on a Vindicator. Unless all those hits are sweeping hits, then it's gonna be a 4th hit. Because that's how math works. Also, it seems that just from that, we now have enough gold to actually upgrade our armor, as we clearly need to. So now we have a diamond chest plate. Believe it or not, this only reduces the amount of damage by about 2. That is, if it's from a Vex. So, it's still doing, like, a solid quarter of my entire health pool. That sounds fair, right? Except that they can hit you like crazy. If I'm not careful with my movements, he easily destroys me. Which is kind of why this map is actually one of my harder maps. But, seeing how I have the sword, I can easily mow these guys down. And possibly even afford me a, not quite. Soon. But not quite. I can go ahead and show off the food vendor, who only sells golden apples and revives. Oh, hello! Sneak attack from behind. The classic Vex strategy. Just sneak up behind the player without making a sound, and then hit them. Not a single tail, you just boop. And because 50% of my armor is still leather, and I've only got about protection 10 in total, that's, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of defense against that. You'd really expect to go in with at least full diamond and protection 12 for dealing with Vexes. Though I can up it to protection 14, I believe, with these diamond pants. I should actually get me some new shoes, because guess who? The Wither. Oh wait. Oh well. I can just camp here and use my golden apples instead. So here's why I bought the bow upgrade. Chew through them faster. And since I'm not being harassed by Vexes, because I actually was able to dispose of all of them before this round started, I am now able to actually have a fair fight with the River. If he doesn't just attach himself to me like that. Okay, running. Stay there. Down he goes. And that automatically gets us our helmet. Actually, it might be more prudent to get the boots. Never mind the, actually, it's a tricky decision, but I'm gonna go with running boots for a little bit longer. I've got all the arrows I'm ever gonna need. What we do now is get some of this. Wait, no, not the harming potion. Harming potion is useless. I don't even know why I put it in this shop. apart from making it look pretty. This might not have been the most ideal idea. Yeah, attacking with my bow is a brilliant idea. Not really, but... Oh! Get out of there, get out of there. That's low health. Even if it doesn't really look like it, that's low health. And they can really kick your butt if you're not careful. So now it's just a matter of really destroying enough monsters to finish my diamond armor and get some notch apples. Okay, okay, out of here. Wait. Ow. Alright. Run! I just need one more piece of diamond armor, and I'll be able to tank these guys to oblivion. It does help a bit that I have strength for that, like, free damage. Which means I can actually two-shot the Vindicators now. And that's a Vex down. Could probably do with a bit more health. And our next stop will actually be the shoe shop, because all your shoes, whether they be for fast or for protection, are at the purple shoe shop down there. But that's going to be an easy little purchase. Yeah, the strength has worn off, but it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so your rewards for really getting through all that Vex mayhem in the teens for the rounds is being able to actually plow through these guys pretty nicely. I mean, it can get pretty mind-numbing eventually, but it rounds early enough to just feel kind of rewarding, really. Alright, so now we say goodbye to the speed for the most part, but we still have our boots here. And now we just tank it out. They still do actually kind of significant damage, so if we get too low, we're gonna just jet off into the water or something. We've actually got quite enough of a armor set that we can take quite a few hits now. Although they're still doing enough damage until I eat one of these. There we go! Now, until the, well, basically until the end of the round, I can just live off of the regular golden apples and occasionally some enchantment bottles to repair my mending armor. And we're good. Now this is actually quite rewarding. It's tough, but once you hit the end, you're rewarded with being able to do this. Basically, the game has become Hyrule Warriors. Or perhaps any of the other Dynasty Warriors games, but yeah, Hyrule Warriors is the one I'm most familiar with, even though I haven't played it. What am I doing not playing these games? Then again, it is just a fighting game. Almost. I mean, it's not Street Fighter, but you get the idea. I can basically just pack that into there. Repair the armor. It's good enough anyways. And now we just kind of blitz through the rest of this, and we're gone. Or we're done. Yeah, this is my strength. Sweeping Edge is a lifesaver. There is no way you can ever deny that. I imagine there's just like 2 rounds left, or 2 waves left, and then we'll be done. Oh, I didn't capitalize on that. Oh well. In terms of round length, like for how long this particular map lasts, this is probably one of the longest. Originally it was going to be a whopping 60 waves, but even I found that to be too much. You would get to here at the same time, and then it would just be 40 waves of this. Which, that's not exactly a bad thing, except for it being kind of obsolete. Now that you've got all this master tier stuff, this god tier armor, even the strongest monsters can't really deal with you, no matter how many come. Unless you just forget to heal. But, wave 29, final wave. Just mow through this last wave like the other 3 or 4 or 5, and you're good. Only feels like 3 or 4 or 5. This is why we need custom mobs, so we can really get stronger stuff on them. Make it go longer. Make it go into the Minecraft equivalent of, I guess, Fairy Tail or Dragon Ball Z, where things are just like so crazy strong that you'd never even be able to stand a chance. But, anyways, that is... Someone's been taking my... Anyways, that's that map. Until next time.